Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and firstly I want to say thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video today. If you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. Find out more about Manscaped and their products at the end of the video. But in this video today, we are finally going to be going over my official Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2022 season record predictions. This is a very exciting time for a lot of Bucs fans. We are literally a week away from the start of a new Buccaneers season, but it's a little bit of a worrisome time as well, right? The Buccaneers have an incredibly difficult schedule on their hands. They play playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders, and basically everybody else in between. It is not going to be an easy path for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've seen how a lot of you guys feel the team is going to do when I talked about this video, promoting it in a community post yesterday, and I'm finally going to be giving my thoughts on how I think the Buccaneers are going to do in this upcoming season. Let's go ahead and start with week number 1 at the Dallas Cowboys. I give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the win in this matchup. Both teams have a decent amount of some concerning injuries, specifically on their offensive line. I think at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, the Buccaneers have more offensive firepower than the Dallas Cowboys, and I feel the Bucs will come out strong in week number 1 and get a win over Dallas. In week number 2 at the New Orleans Saints, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking their first loss of the season early on. The fact that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being traded away to the Eagles does not change the fact that, unfortunately, the Saints have had the Bucs number time and time again throughout the regular season. Thankfully, playoffs is a different story, but I think that trend will continue here in week number 2 against the Saints. I think the Buccaneers will be dealt their first loss of the season. Then, in week number 3 versus the Green Bay Packers, it is a home game. I give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers another loss in this situation. I think that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to be looking to get some level of revenge based on how the Buccaneers have been beating them left, right, and center the past couple of years. I think they will finally get the better of the Bucs in this situation. I know people may turn to Davante Adams not being there and other things along those lines, but, sometimes things happen in the NFL, and I think the Packers are still a very, very solid team, one of the top teams in the NFC, and I think they will get the better of the Bucs here, having the Bucs start at 1-2, 3 games through the season. But things do rebound here in week number 4 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I give the Bucs the win here. I think it'll be a fantastic game, an awesome rematch, right? But I do give the Buccaneers the win here in the rematch over the Chiefs. They did lose Tyreek Hill. They've lost some other guys in there as well. Patrick Mahomes, still probably the best quarterback in the league. I don't think there is a super crazy debate about that in terms of just like raw, pure talent. I think you've got to have Patrick Mahomes at least up there to a certain capacity. But despite that, I do give the Buccaneers a win here, having them be 2-2 throughout the first 4 weeks of the season, which I think everybody can agree is a hellacious month to start off the year. We have already talked about that at length here on the channel. Moving in to week number 5 versus the Atlanta Falcons, it is a home game. I give the Buccaneers another win here. The Falcons, point blank, folks, are just not a very good team. They have some interesting things going on, but they are also, I think, more fully in a rebuild now than they were even last year. And they weren't very good last year. So I give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a win here versus the Falcons in week number 5. In week number 6 at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I give the Buccaneers yet again another win, having them be 4-2, 6 games through the year. I like what the Steelers have in some of their pieces, but the most important position for them is a question mark, that being the quarterback position. Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, which guy are you going to be starting at that point? We don't know, but despite Mitchell Trubisky having some recent success versus the Buccaneers in the past handful of years, I think the Buccaneers will be able to get a win. Pittsburgh is kind of a, more dark horse team, I think, for a playoff shot, something along those lines, but I think the Bucs just have more talent overall, and they will prevail in week number 6. Then, in week number 7, at the Carolina Panthers, I give the Buccaneers another win. Again, the Panthers are in a semi-similar spot to what the Falcons were at last year, where they are trying to be competitive, but they just have a few too many question marks, I feel like. They could possibly be a wild card team with Baker Mayfield at the quarterback position, but I don't think they are going to be necessarily a super, super big powerhouse in the NFC, a super deep competitive team. I think the Buccaneers have the better talent overall when comparing the rosters, and I think they will get a win here against another NFC South foe in week number 7. Then in week number 8, I have the Buccaneers taking a loss to the Baltimore Ravens. I think Baltimore is due for a really big bounce back season. Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to go nuclear this upcoming year, and I think the Buccaneers won't be able to keep up with him and his scrambling ability. The Buccaneers have had problems with scrambling quarterbacks in the past. I think that will continue here against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I give them the win here over Brady and the Bucs. And then moving into week number 9, I give the Bucs another loss to the LA Rams. Much like in the case of the New Orleans Saints, the Rams have had the Buccaneers number for the past few times these two teams have gone head-to-head against each other. You may say, well, the Buccaneers may look to get revenge based off the playoff loss from last year. While that may possibly be the case, we will see. I could be definitely wrong about this one. I think the Rams are still an insanely, insanely talented team with some of the best players at their respective position groups in the league, and they may have just as, if not a more talented roster top to bottom when compared to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry, I'm just going to tell it how it is. I give the Rams the win here, although, hey, you know, if a playoff matchup were to happen again, maybe you give the Buccaneers the win there. Who knows? But for this regular season game here, I give the Rams the win. Then moving into week number 10, Seattle Seahawks in Germany. I give the Bucs the win. The Seahawks are a rebuilding team right now, regardless of what they want to say. They're trying to get done with Geno Smith as their starting quarterback. I think the Bucs are the more talented team, and I give them the win. Week number 11 is a bye week. Then going into week number 12 at the Cleveland Browns, I give the Buccaneers a win. They won't have to be playing Deshaun Watson. Jacoby Brissett will be their quarterback. The Buccaneers have shown that they've been able to handle Jacoby Brissett-led teams in the past. I think they will be able to do that again and get the win over Brissett and the Browns. Week number 12 versus the Saints. It is a home game, and I'm going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers another loss here. I think that the Saints will sweep the Bucs. And this isn't something I wanted to do. Keep in mind, I obviously want the Bucs to beat the Saints, but right now as it stands, just looking at this as critically as I can in a non-biased way, shape, or form, the Bucs have not given many reasons to believe that they can beat the Saints in regular season matchups. It's just not a thing right now. This could change this upcoming season. You know, Sean Payton's not there. Dennis Allen's the new head coach. How's that going to be for their offense moving forward? But that defense is still absolutely incredible for the Saints, regardless of them getting rid of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I just think that the Buccaneers need to prove it. And until they prove it, I'm going to have them losing to teams like the Saints and the Rams moving forward. So that is what that is, folks. I know that might be divisive for some people, but I do have the Buccaneers getting a loss here. Then in week 14 versus the San Francisco 49ers, folks, I've got them at another loss. They are 7-6 after week 14. Reason for this, San Francisco 49ers, Deebo Samuel, dude's an absolute menace. I think it could be a difficult task for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to stop Deebo Samuel in the incredibly innovative offense that the San Francisco 49ers employ, be it Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback or Trey Lance. I think that they will just get the win there. And I could be wrong about that one as well, but I just feel like the 49ers, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Shanahan is the offensive play caller, as well as a really underrated defense, in my opinion. I feel like they will go ahead and snag a win from the Bucs there, making them 7-6 with 4 weeks left in the season, but things do get better. I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Bengals in week number 15. That would be a fantastic game, by the way. It's a home game. If you can go to that game, go to that game. It will be a good one to watch. I think this is going to be two very similar teams going head-to-head with insanely high-powered offenses, but I do give the Buccaneers the win against the Bengals, who may have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, which is something to consider. Then, week number 16, Arizona Cardinals. I give the Buccaneers a win again at Arizona. I think that the Cardinals are a good team, but I think the Buccaneers just have a little bit more firepower. I think there are still some questions to Kyler Murray and his game, and I think the Buccaneers will be able to prevail over a Arizona Cardinals team. Then in week number 17 versus the Carolina Panthers, I give them a win. much like what I said in the last game versus the Panthers, I think the Buccaneers will sweep the Panthers. Then in week number 18 at the Falcons, I give them a win. The Buccaneers sweep the Panthers, they sweep the Falcons, and they finish the season with an 11-6 record. And I could be wrong on some of these wins or losses, but I feel pretty confident about that 11-6 record. And some people may say, James, why don't you have them going 17-0? Why don't you have them going 16-1, 15-2? What is wrong with you? Folks, at the end of the day, I'm here to cover the team. I try to be as non-biased as I can be in certain situations, and in this situation, I've got to admit, this is a very tough schedule, man. This is a very tough schedule, and there are some incredibly tough matchups on here. I think 11-6 is a fair record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're playing some really, really good teams. Again, Super Bowl contending teams basically the first 4 weeks of the season, folks. That's not an easy thing to have at all. They have got a lot of tough teams to play. I think 11-6 will be their record. Will that be good enough to win the NFC South? I think probably so, but they would probably have to play in the wild card at that point as well, which is not always a fun thing. But you know, folks, that's it. That's at the end of the day what I think the Buccaneers record is going to be, 11-6. Shout out to Calvin, by the way, who said the Buccaneers record is going to be 9-8. So, hey, I feel like I'm pretty good here with my record prediction. I think it is a fair record prediction. I think that I've done a pretty serviceable job in terms of taking a look at this and having a reasonable conclusion. But I could be completely wrong. The Buccaneers could have a better record than what I said. They could have a worse record than what I said. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my record prediction? Do you think the Buccaneers will have more wins or less wins than what I predicted them to have? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Now we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs. Hey guys, James here, and as I said at the top of this video, this was sponsored by Manscaped. If you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. You can get anything on the website, folks. You're not tied down to one item or another. Again, you can get anything on the website, whatever you're interested in. If you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. And, you know, if we get just a handful of people to use the code, folks, it will go a really long way in terms of supporting the channel and helping make sure I can do this more in a full-time capacity, something that is a goal of mine. And Manscaped has actually sent me some of their more popular and recent products to talk about and review for you guys today. First thing I want to make a note of here is the mat that they sent. It is a newspaper that Manscaped has created. It is a good product to help ensure you're not making a mess when you are grooming. You also have the Crop Reviver and the Crop Preserver as well, just to make sure everything is going good down there in terms of anti-chafing as well as toner as well for those products in regards to your grooming. You have the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped's most recent razor that they have. It's got a safety light on there, a lot of safety features in there as well, so you're not hurting yourself whenever you are grooming yourself, because that wouldn't be a good thing under any circumstances. So the Lawnmower 4.0 is their most recent razor that they have out now. But some of the more favorable products that I have, or at least some of the more products that I enjoy. Firstly, here we have the t-shirt. This is the second t-shirt that Manscaped has sent me. I love these shirts, man, not just because of the tagline, you know, Manscaped. You can read the rest of the tagline there, but it's not just for the tagline, folks. These are genuinely comfortable shirts that are very, very wearable, in my opinion. I like these shirts. I think that these are very solid, capable shirts that get the job done. I wear these shirts a lot, so again, I think that these are quality shirts, not just for the tagline, but also very wearable as well. Speaking of things that are wearable, folks, Manscaped has boxer briefs, and I will say this, I will die on this hill. Manscaped has some of the best underwear out there today, folks. These are really, really comfy underwear, folks. I'm very happy to have these products. In fact, I would say that this is the most recommended product, in my opinion, that you get on Manscaped. Again, you can get 20% off on that if you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout. They've got really good underwear over there at Manscaped, so I would highly recommend that, probably the most. You've also got here the Weed Whacker, which is the nose and ear hair trimmer trimmer. This is actually something I've wanted in my own personal grooming kit for a while now, and I finally have one here thanks to Manscaped. This is a very solid, very interesting product that I'm excited to use. I think it is a very solid addition to any men's grooming kit that is out there. Manscaped has got you covered for that as well. And then finally, you have the kit bag here. This is a very solid, very nice bag that you can keep all of your Manscaped products in, or really any men's grooming products that you want to use. You know, nail clippers, you know, files, anything along those lines, you can keep in that bag there. And it is a very solid, very durable, very, very nice bag to have. But folks, again, thank you so much for Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Use the code MrBucsNation at checkout to get 20% off on your order. It will really, again, go a long way in terms of helping support the channel and helping me do this more in a full-time capacity. So thank you guys so much. Go check it out at manscaped.com. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.